appears that Americans are losing their faith in capitalism and big business. Now, this is according to a recent Gallup poll, which found that only 54% of Americans view the economic system of capitalism favorably. That's actually down from 60% in 2021 and is actually at the lowest point that it's been since Gallup began collecting this data back in 2010. So let's kind of break this down. All right. By party, less than half of all Democrats, 42%, have a favorable view of capitalism. Just over half of all independents feel the same. Now you compare that to Republicans. 3/4 of Republicans are like, no, yeah, capitalism is great. Oh, okay. Gee, I wonder why. Could it be all the propaganda? Perhaps. And propaganda, it ties into my next point. See, the poll also asked about other alternatives, right? Only 39% of respondents currently hold a positive view of socialism. That has not changed since 2010. And again, that is a result of propaganda. No one really knows in mainstream media what socialism is. You want to know what socialism is? It's the democratization of the workplace. That's really it. Worker owners, okay? Worker owners. So if you're working somewhere and also own part of the business, that's socialism. That's really it. Workers owning means of production, okay? And when you think about it, there's a lot of people who are independent contractors, okay? That could be an example of socialism, not in every case, obviously, but the way that you see it is, well, if you're an independent contractor, odds are that you are both owning and working at the business. I mean, yes, that's also could be sole proprietorship, and the definitions get a little murky, right? But here's a better one. If you are an independent contractor and you own your business, but also work there, right? And then you hire people, but give them equal ownership and responsibility in the company. That would be an example of socialism, would it not? I mean, I think it would be. Again, this is just the workers owning the business. That there would be no single CEO. Everyone would be a CEO. Okay. The boardroom would be made up of both, again, the members of the board who would also be workers. They would be that would be the labor. And so that's what socialism is. Socialism is not the government owning business. Socialism is not welfare. Socialism is not giving money to people who are lazy and do not wish to work. What you're thinking of is capitalism, where you have, for example, stock traders, these high-profile traders, right, that sit there and get these computer programs to automate the trades of shares while sipping mimosas at the beach. All right, that's it. That's in capitalism. Okay, in a socialist workplace, your boss would be working right alongside of you, and you would also be a boss. Okay, so all the workers would be the bosses, and you would have to collaborate in order to get things done. I know that such a concept is alien to all of us. Okay, and that is a result of propaganda. Propaganda, of course, spread by, well, none other than the capitalists, okay, who own the media. So all I can tell you is that people who have been propagandized by our current system, they don't know why, but they do know that our current system is not working for them. And earlier this month, the Wall Street Journal had conducted a survey, finding that almost 70% of U.S. citizens believe the American dream of working hard to get ahead, the thing that we were sold, Okay. Oh, just work hard, follow the rules, get an education, things like that. You'll get the American dream. They have found that it either no longer holds true or it never was true. Now, here's the thing. The American dream, yes, it held true for some people, but it never held true for everyone. And that's a result of the capitalist system. Okay? Look, the reality here is that the hardest working people among us, the ones who work the hardest, get paid the least. I mean, think about the people who are in, for example, home healthcare workers, okay? Or people who work in adult foster care homes. They work very, very hard, long hours, bad conditions for very, very little pay. Okay? Or think about the people that are working in fast food, that are working in hospitality. They're all working very difficult jobs, very physically demanding jobs, or mentally demanding jobs. They work their asses off. They play by the rules, but still can't get ahead. And that's not to say anything about those who have been working in our fields, the ones who are in large part undocumented labor. They get paid very, very little to supply our grocery stores with food. And how do they get rewarded? Exploitation and deportation. That's how they're getting rewarded. And that right there is capitalism. Younger people, mainly Democrats, they're starting to understand that. In fact, while around only 50% of Democrats had a positive view of socialism back in 2010, nearly 2/3 do today. In fact, they're the only partisan group who now views socialism more positively than capitalism at 66 to 44%. I think it's very clear to those who have been paying attention that our system is absolutely broken. Cost of buying a house skyrocketed. Wages haven't kept up. Rents since 2001 have risen 10 times faster than income. I mean, the disparity between the rich and everyone else, the haves and the have-nots, is massive and continues to get bigger. We're about to have in Elon Musk our first trillionaire while people are going hungry. Okay? And you know what? That is because of capitalists. I mean, for housing, for example, investors, capitalist investors, buy up single-family homes, lowering the supply of homes, okay? And then rent those homes out, driving up the price. So they have created in housing a fake scarcity crisis. There are enough homes. There are certainly enough empty homes for everyone to have a place to live. But they don't want to do that. They don't want to allow people to live there. Certainly not for free. Okay? Or lower the prices of homes, because then they wouldn't make enough profit. Okay? Look, under capitalism, our capitalist system, corporations need to have scarcity, because scarcity lowers supply and drives up prices. That's why, for example, food that does not sell at the grocery store is thrown out instead of donated to food banks. Why don't they just donate the food to the food banks, you ask? Because capitalism. You must have, for this system to function, fake scarcity to drive up prices. This is why, despite the fact that there is enough housing for everyone, we have homeless people. That's it. This is nothing more than fake scarcity to drive up prices. We have in this country, in our society. All of the technology, all of the know-how to feed and house everyone, to guarantee them health care, medical care. But we don't. Why? Because of capitalism and fake scarcity. You got to have it in order to maximize profit. And so because the focus is on maximizing profit for a very, very few, people will never get the things that they need. Is it any wonder why you have, for example, democratic socialists like Bernie Sanders and Zohran Mamdani becoming very popular recently? While the Democratic establishment is like, no, we can't have that. Here's the thing. At the end of the day, those people are still capitalists. There are no socialists in the Democratic Party or in our politics whatsoever. They're still capitalists. But they acknowledge that the current system is not working because the cost of living is so unacceptable now that they're forced to do something about it. They're still operating within a capitalist structure. But still, there are ways that they see within that structure to be able to minimize the amount of suffering that capitalism is creating. And so that's the reality here. And so, yes, it is not a surprise to anyone why people are so mad at our current system and are looking for change. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.